Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If I could get everyone to take a seat, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Perfections of Salat, a conference hosted by both Mehdi Youth and the Ark of Salvation about learning from the life of a great man, Imam Ali alayhi salam. This conference, or this event rather, is aimed for converts and non-converts alike. We have a resource booth at the back with a bunch of different resources that you can go and check out, and we encourage you to check out, inshallah, as well as a raffle. So please make sure that at some point throughout the event, you go ahead and enter in the raffle, inshallah. So to start, as always, I'd like to invite our brother Fazel for a short recitation of the Quran. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أقم الصلاة لدنوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعث ربك ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعث ربك مقاما محمودا وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد.
For Brother Fazil, can we get another loud salawat? Now, as I mentioned before, this event is co-hosted by Mahdi Youth and the Ark of Salvation, which is an organization who has motivated many different people towards the path of God. And to talk about who they are and what they do, I'd like to invite up Brother Talib Joseph, who can talk a bit more about that. So let's welcome him up with a loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we begin, first, on behalf of the organization, I'd like to thank Al-Mahdi for allowing us to collaborate this event with Mahdi Youth Society and to share the details of the organization. This is a very important, place for me to share the organization, is because this was the very place in which I took my shahadat. It's approximately 20 years ago, seems like lifetimes ago. But Mulana Bakri, who was the resident alim of the center, conducted the event for me, and from that moment on, I gained valuable friendships and a community. And having that sense of community and having that belonging allowed for spiritual growth and helped me discover the various tenets of Islam. And with the growing convert community across GTA and with the help of Sheikh Abu Sumaya and my wife, we have concluded that there is a need to help and assist the convert community and on their journey within the Islam. So before I talk about the organization, I'd like to share a small excerpt from a book that talks about the Muslim youth in the Western society. So this writer in a paragraph writes, "For young Muslims in the West, identity formation is a process of constant negotiation, one that is deeply influenced by the availability or lack of religious spaces that affirm their faith and culture. In a society where Islam is often perceived as foreign or even threatening, the absence of visible Muslim spaces means that young people internalize a sense of being outsiders." Now, the reason I like to share this paragraph specifically is the last word, outsiders. And as converts, the feeling and the notion of being outsiders, not relating to the language, the linguistics, the culture, and not having family part of the community, it doesn't help us integrate into the centers across GTA. So with that in mind, with the direction of Sheikh Abu Sumaya and with the advice of Mulana Rizvi, my wife and I, we established the Ark of Salvation. And our mission is to establish an Islamic resource facility, an educational organization that provides Islamic programs, support initiatives, and social opportunities for a growing convert community. And what that means is that throughout the year, there's various programs and events that take place commemorating the death anniversaries of our beloved Imams and other events throughout the year. And was integrate things like spirituality and how we connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Ahlul Bayt. And we will be sharing more updates with regards to the programs that we have in place throughout the year. We do have a WhatsApp group. On the resource table in the back, there is a QR code that you can scan and join the group to hear more about our programs. But I'm happy to be here to conduct this program with Mehdi Youth Society. And I also would like the community to get to know one another, especially the converts who I know don't travel very far, unfortunately, to various centers, but I want to give an opportunity for them to see the different centers across GTA and to explore the different cultures that we have, that is rich cultures that we have within Shia Islam across GTA, and make friends and valuable friendships that help them in their spiritual growth and relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Ahlul Bayt. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us the time, and inshallah, we're looking forward to receiving your feedback from all of you. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Another loud salawat. Now this event is in honor of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and we being the Shia of Ali, no event would be complete without some poetry. So to recite some poetry in the honor of the Imam, I'd like to invite up Brother Shantanu Mehra, if he's here. Salat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Before I share this, I just quickly wanted to thank the organizers, especially the Al-Mahdi Youth Society and the Ark of Salvation, and I thank them because they are filling in a very I don't know if the right word is vacuum, or creating a space where allowing converts to feel at home in their home. And I think that is a much needed service. Like Brother Talib was saying about the notion of being the outsider, but with that notion also comes a certain degree of vulnerability to belong nowhere. And I think from the anxiety and the vulnerability of being nowhere to finally saying, I am in the right place, in the safety of the teachings of Ahlul Bayt. I think that is just a great feeling for all of us. With that, the words that I'm going to share are not mine. I'm simply sharing this on behalf of someone who has written it. The brother chooses to be anonymous, but I think all of you know who that person is, given that they have taken great steps. He has taken great steps to serve the convert community. So here I go. The nights have come forth where the immaculate time of Wilaya descend. Open up the hearts to the one on the mount and watch your Walaya ascent. If the ornaments in the solar system circumambulate the mighty sun's illumination, then the existence of time circumambulates Imam al-Mahdi's awaiting the arrival and jubilation. The nations came forth, but have they understood the meaning of time? Is it the movement of the moon and the sun, where spirit is non-existent in the mind? If we look at modern human theory, it is just a mere grazing of resources of the earth. The evidence of the last luminary is the lantern of light, which illuminates within giving us the spiritual birth. But we have turned our faces away from the sun, unknowingly desiring darkness, finding comfort in the shade. With time, we have forgotten that he is like the sun behind the clouds, where allegiance is made until judgment day. However, he can be seen before his reappearance, but not from your eyes, but from within your heart. Till then, keep those eyes lowered from sin, so your soul may remain pure and not tread in the dark. The remembrance of his birth is a day of rejoice amongst his followers, for the prayers have reached a higher elevation. But we are a nation in the time of his occultation, with great agony from his physical separation. How do we endure this time where there is so much suffering and pain? Even on his auspicious night of his birth, he asked you to turn your face towards Imam al-Hussein. Under the dome is the home where your spiritual wings that were through sin are regained. It is at that moment in which the allegiance is reaffirmed and the light within is retained. So as you rejoice and celebrate this day on the birth of Imam of your time, inscribe in your heart his sincere allegiance so that you'll be ready in time. Take the lessons from his signs so his reappearance is not a distant dream, that your spirit has awakened and you are placed amongst the 313. Loud salawat. Thank you.
Can we get another loud salawat, please? Now for what I guess you could consider the main event. I guess most of you, like me, are a big fan of him. I'd like to invite up Sheikh Abu Sumayya for a quick lecture. Loud salawats, please. Salat.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة المبارك الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من اللعين الغوي الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على خيرة خلق الله أجمعين وهو رحمة الله للعالمين هو أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الميامين المهديين المعصومين ولعنة الله دائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقال الله تعالى في كتابه المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق أولم يكفي بربك أنه على كل شيء شهيد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe in such a way that he can be found everywhere and at every moment and at every instance. And that's why he says that that we have placed our signs in the horizons and within themselves until they know that he is the truth. I want us to kind of think of this verse as I progress forward and begin thinking what a spiritual life looks like in the shadow of the commander of the faithful, of Amir al-Mu'mineen. That if he is the wajh of Allah, not meaning face of God, of course that's not a correct translation, but he is the epitome of God. And if God has shown his signs in the horizons and within ourselves, such that we may find him, then naturally the greatest sign is what we describe in Dua al-Iftita as Ayatuhu al-Kubra, that he is the great sign of God, which is none other than Amir al-Mu'mineen. When he visits Amir al-Mu'mineen, Assalamu alayka ya amin Allahi fi ardi wa hujjatuhu ala ibadi. O the trustee of God and the proof of God upon his servants. Assalamu alayka ya amir al-mu'min ashhadu annaka jahadta fillah. That I testified that you struggled in the way of God. Jahadta fillah. Fine. Haqqa jihad. So this is an extremely important point here. That you performed jihad of both types, of course, as we know. The greater one and the lesser one. The internal one and the external one. Haqqa jihadihi. Like there's nothing left. Like you performed it in such a way that it is complete. وَعَمِلْتَ بِكِتَابِهِ. And you acted according to the book of Allah. وَاتَّبَعْتَ سُنَنَ النَّبِيِّ. And you followed the sunnah of the Prophet. Right? These are all the categories. These are all the elements which, when compiled together cumulatively, make him Amir al-Mu'mineen. That he struggled in the way of God. He acted by the book of God. He followed the sunnah of the Prophet. Hatta da'aka Allahu ila jiwari. Until God invited him or brought him back to him. This is a very important point, right? So everything that I mention going forward is based on this very premise. There is no distance between Amir al-Mu'mineen and the sunnah of the Prophet. There is no distance between Amir al-Mu'mineen and Jihad al-Asghar and Jihad al-Akbar. The greater jihad and the lesser jihad. The jihad of the soul and the jihad obviously that he struggled in the way of Allah to support Islam during the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, and after his death. And there is no conception of Amir al-Mu'mineen without the book of God. Because we say, وَعَمِلْتَ بِكِتَابِهِ. And you acted by its book, by the book of God. And you followed the sunnah of the Prophet. So what did this look like in all reality? Now that we got the theory out of the way, what does this look like? Words are very simple, right? I can come here, recite a ziyarah to you. Oh, wow, oh yeah, that sounds nice, okay. But what does that look like? In reality, what this entailed was an entire erasure of himself in the presence of God and in the presence of the Messenger of God. Because in order to say that he struggled in the way of God, haqqa jihad, with its complete due that's given to it, it required him to erase and extinguish and annihilate himself entirely in God and in the Messenger of God. And that's why after the Messenger of Allah there was no slave like Ali. What made Ali great was the ubudiyyat of Ali, was the fact that in his ubudiyyat and his slavehood he could be compared to the slavehood of Rasulullah. That's what made Ali great. That when you compare the erasure and the annihilation and the emptying of his own self, some comparison could be possibly made between him and his brother, the messenger of God, his spiritual brother and cousin and father. Because the Prophet used to address him as his son, right, as his walad, because he grew up with the Prophet. And because of this, he came to be known as a sober man, a sober and noble man, ruined by the inconstancy of his friends as much as by the malice of his enemies, and finally by the power of brute force. So number one, he's a sober, because when someone erases themselves in the way of God, when someone loses the eye, there was no eye for Amir al-Mu'mineen. He became the commander of the faithful because he erased the eye within himself. There was no more eye in him. Because he understood that everywhere he turns, he'll find the face of God. The metaphorical face of God, meaning the existence of God. He understood that at any moment of his life, he only sees God. And that's why he says, قُلُوبُنَا فِي الْجِنَانِ وَأَجْسَادُنَا فِي الْعَمَلِ, that our hearts are in paradise, but our bodies are at work. At once he existed in this paradoxical state at every single moment of his life. That would only make someone sober. It would sober them to the reality, as the Prophet said, cry a lot and laugh a little. If you knew what I know, you would have long nights of tears and very short moments of laughter. Because as they discover the jalal of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the grandeur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they go through moments of profound sadness over themselves and profound moments of profound ecstasy. It's a state of complete hayra. Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he's asked, he describes himself as if he's in a moment of confusion. But not confusion in not knowing what to do. No. This is confusion in the sense of, how do I even perceive what I have understood with my heart? So this made him sober. And the fact that his life was the Quran, and the Quran was, and the Sunnah, he had a lot of friends, or people that claimed to be his friends. But they had a problem in themselves. What was their problem? It was their own inconstancy, their inconsistencies. And then he had enemies who had not inconstancy towards him, but malice, hatred. So he's by people who have had jealousy and hatred towards Banu Hashim and his wife and himself since the very beginnings of Islam. Finally, his end would come through the power of sheer brute force. That would result in his martyrdom. Why? Because of what he experienced with God. And because his life, his entire life can be described as a life of prayer. His salat and his walking and his talking and his recitation of Quran and his sleeping is all but one moment. Everything is a reflection of that reality that he sees God in everything that he does. And that's why he says that I don't do anything إِلَّا أَنَا أَرَى اللَّهَ قَبْلَهُ فِيهِ وَبَعْدُ, except that I see God before it, in it, and after it. Nothing. He does not do anything. La shay. Nothing. So the moment in his salah and the moment when he's eating are in some sense a singular moment. For us, they're different. For us, they're very, very totally different states. And that's why he says, what you see in front of me is not what you think you know about me. Our hearts are already in paradise. You may see me at work here, but our hearts have already returned to God. The raji'un has already occurred. We're just waiting for physical death. The inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The raj'a, the return to God has already occurred for him. He's already died before that death has taken place. But not in a negative sense. Not in some kind of depressing, morbid sense. No. In the sense of that when we understand truly what existence is, what wujud is, what being is, and that there can be no being apart from it being a sign of God or inspired by God or existing because of the will of God in that very moment, then you're left with no other option but to be in a permanent state of wonder, a permanent state of perplexity, a permanent state of ecstasy. And through that, then you can understand that when he was praying, like he was shaking like a snake and so on and so forth, and vibrating, and the color would change. Not only him, all of Ahlul Bayt, of course. But as Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, a riwayah in Irshad, that Mufid narrates, very interestingly, one night Imam al-Baqir saw Imam Zayn al-Abidin performing his night vigils, the night prayer, and the du'as of the night. And he looked, and he was known as Zayn al-Abidin, of course, the ornament of the worshippers. And at that moment when Imam Baqir asked him about that, Imam Zayn al-Abidin said, but nobody can be compared to my grandfather, Ali ibn Abi Talib. That what you see, oh my son, Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, what you see in front of you is nothing compared to what my grandfather Ali would perform as his night vigil, as his night prayer, as the prayers and supplications and devotions and litanies of the night. Because, as St. John of the Cross says very well, these are pre-Islamic Christian figures, but it fits very well, that they're entering into what is known as the dark night of the soul. Right? And Imam As-Sadiq refers to this as Jawf al-Layl, that the one who cries fi Jawf al-Layl, man bakat ala nafsihi fi Jawf al-Layl, or man baka ala nafsihi fi Jawf al-Layl. That the one who cries, baka ala nafsihi, in the depth of the night, those eyes shall be protected from any fire on the day of judgment. Right? And we have many traditions like that the one who cries in their prayer or expresses tears, as Amir al-Mu'mineen tells us, this itself becomes an immunity over them from being touched from the fire of hell. It's very deep, because they're entering into what earlier mystics described as the dark night of the soul. There's a relationship between darkness, tears, self-discovery, journeying, all of these things. Now imagine this same person, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now you understand a little bit about him. He says, إِذَا قَدَرْتَ عَلَى عَدُوِّكَ, when you overcome your enemy. So if you win, your enemy loses, you win. إِذَا قَدَرْتَ عَلَى عَدُوِّكَ, فاجعل العفو عنه شكرا لقدرتي عليه. Make your forgiveness of him, your pardoning of him, a sign of your thanks to God that he has given you victory. Allahu Akbar. It's because he's entered into so many dark nights of the soul to understand that. When you understand your own fragility, your own vulnerability in front of God, because of our very createdness, we are such. Then even a physical worldly victory, it's not even meaningful. Let them go. That's exactly what happened at the Battle of the Camel, isn't it? Battle of Jamal. The companions could not understand. What is he doing? Why is he crying in the middle of the battle? I didn't understand him. As I say, he was an enigma. Why is this man crying in the middle of war? He should be beating his chest, ready to cut people's heads. He says, these are our Muslim brothers and sisters on the other side. And there is Amir al-Mu'mineen with tears in his beard. Who could understand this? Very few, جدا قليل. This was the inconstancy of his friends. It wasn't so much that they meant bad by him. They just couldn't understand it. I honestly think that the 99% of the people around him, other than Kumail ibn Ziyad, Abu Dharr al-Ghifari, a few other people, obviously Salman, Qambar, and a few other people, Asbaq bin Nubata, other than the Ma'sumin, obviously, and his own children, they could not understand. And that's, I think, deep down partially the reason why he had a soft spot for both Talha and Zubair. It wasn't that he excused them for what they did. No, not at all. They will be. Allah is their judge for their breaking their oath of allegiance. But he just had so much pity on people. Can you imagine if we lived one day like that? What would the world look like? Just close your eyes and ask yourself, what would this world look like if for one day human beings behaved even a quarter like this, even for a quarter amount of the time, with this kind of magnanimity, this kind of character, this kind of sobriety, this kind of, this is something that would take Aristotle and Plato and put them together and make them weep. This is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And because of this, we say, Ya Ali. Yes, Ya Ali. But that Ya Ali has to be understood, otherwise it becomes a boomerang and becomes an accountability upon us. And then we're held accountable for every time we say Ya Ali, if it's just some kind of empty, quasi-Hindu statement. Ya Ali for what, Ya Ali? Not a Haydari for what, Ya Haydar? What was the Haydar? What did he do? How did he live? How did he behave? How did he pray? How did he treat the people around him? What was his state of being? This is what when we say not a Haydari, Ya Ali. Yes, of course. From a point of ma'rifat, of understanding. Otherwise it's better not to say such things. Because then the Imams will hold us accountable for those things. We'll be held accountable by the Imam. I'm not saying not to say such things. These are important. These are blessings. These, inshallah, will open the door of paradise for us. Bila shak, without doubt. But this is Ali ibn Abi Talib. The Imam manifested this understanding of human fragility in the most sublime way in front of God. And that is only he could perform the entire supplication of the 15th of Sha'ban in a state of a single sajda and prostration. From Allahumma inni as'aluka bi rahmatika allati wasi'at kull shay. Right? What does Kumail say? دخلت على أمير المؤمنين ورأيته ساجدا يدعو بهذا الدعاء. And I saw him that praying with this supplication in a state of prostration, the whole thing. From the beginning to fi khidmatika sarmada and on, is a single sajda of Ali ibn Abi Talib. A single sajda. In a single moment. On a single night. Which Kumail has an arranged meeting with him on the 15th of Sha'ban because they had a meetup, right? He told Kumail to come and see him. Right? They met earlier in the day, Kumail ibn Ziyad Nakhai. And he says, come and see me in the evening because the 15th of Sha'ban has come. Come and meet me, we'll do the amal together. And Kumail happens to come in at that moment where Middle Mu'mineen is performing sajda, as Tusi narrates in Misbah al-Mutahajjid, in one of the earliest and most trustworthy sources of the 5th century of Hijrah. Because he lived by the statement, Man li ghayruk. Whom do I have other than you, O Allah? Man li ghayruk. And if we don't understand this, we will never, ever, ever, ever be able to even begin to venture on the road of being authentically enthralled and immersed in the mystery of that which is Ali ibn Abi Talib. Everything else, I'm sorry to say, will remain a show. It will remain transactional. But when we embark on this road of the ma'rifat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, of the knowledge of Amir al-Mu'mineen, our souls are flooded with the light of God, because his soul becomes the prism through which the light of God enters our hearts. And thus they, the Ma'soom and him particularly, become that sign on the horizon and that sign within ourselves. That as we go deeper and deeper into the life of Ali ibn Abi Talib, he now becomes both the afaq and the anfus for us. He becomes both the horizon and the self. That is the meaning of wilaya, of being Mawla, or Mawali rather, and him being our Mawla. That is the meaning of both his mastership over us, our love of him, and his friendship towards us. Because all of these words are implied in these terms. All of these English descriptions are implied in this. Walaya, Mawla, Mawali, all these different words that are used in Shi'i theology and spirituality to describe the relationship between us and the spiritual masters of Ahlul Bayt. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Let me explain this a little bit further here through some of the words which I think Rumi kind of brings this out a little further here. He says, in the composition of man, all modes of knowledge were originally commingled, so that his spirit might show forth all hidden things, as limpid water shows forth all that is under it and all that is above it. Reflected in the substance of water, such is its nature without treatment or training. But when it was mingled with earth or other colors, that property and that knowledge was parted from it and forgotten by it. Then God Most High sent forth prophets and saints like great limpid water, such as delivers out of the darkness and accidental coloration. What is he trying to get here? He says that the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the saints of God, the beloved of God, teach us how to see the world clearly and to see ourselves clearly. Because without them, everything is mixed. Darkness mixed with light, good mixed with bad, najis mixed with tahir. It's all a mixed bag. And we're confused. We're unsure. Right? So even as the saying goes, al-mu'min mir'atul mu'min, the believer is a mirror to another believer. But those mirrors have to be polished in order to truly reflect something. And it's only the wali of God, the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that can teach us how to separate the dirt from the purity. So that we could see ourselves clearly, that we cannot see ourselves clearly. So there's two kinds of waters, what is the example that Rumi is bringing here, right? There are two examples. One is a kind of water that, like those beautiful clear ponds. When you look in and you look down, you see all the way down to the rocks, right? The pebbles. It's beautiful. You know, those who have been up north in the summertime, the water, you could just pick it up and it's just clear in your hand. You could look down, even see your feet, right? But then there's that water full of algae and dirt and mud and sand, and it's all mixed up. You look at that, and you're not really sure because you can't see the end. You don't know where the end is. Right? You don't know. I mean, if you dive into that, you don't know where you're going to end up. The saints, the awliya, the ma'sumin alayhim salam, they began pristine. And they remained pristine in this world. And without them, we cannot tease out the mud and the algae and the dirt from every atom and molecule of that water. And that's why when their soul prays, exalts God, communes with God, it's naturally night and day different from any other created being. And that's why it is only through the wali of God that we can know God. And Amir al-Mu'mineen himself says, "I'raful haq," that know the truth, wa ta'rifu ahla. Know the truth, or فَتَعْرِفُ أَهْلَهُ, improvising the meaning, but know the truth and you shall know its people. That it's not about personality worship. It's about knowing the truth, looking for those attributes of wilayah, of pure devotion, pure ubudiyah, pure slavehood to God. Pure annihilation of the self. The erasure of I. And then you'll see the truth. But we can't know the truth. We can't know the people of that truth until we know the truth itself. Otherwise, someone could come up here and tell you wahwa, bring you something, get paid a boatload of money, and go home. And you could just be like, wah, 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 wah. But if you don't know the truth, it doesn't matter how much money you have paid, or how much food you're serving, or how big of an audience you have. It's still algae and mud all mixed up. useless. No exercise. It's just a big show. Because there's no ma'rifatul haqq. Then we know it's ahl. It's not the other way around. Put a turban on or wear some kind of clothing or not, I don't know. Maybe have an Arabic accent and everyone falls in love and says, oh, mashallah, mashallah, must be alam ad-din, right? Actually, not even that these days, who knows? So anyhow, but the point is that that's not the standard. The standard as a middle moment says, know the truth, then you will know its people. Judge them based on what you already know is true. Then decide whether it is worth for you to invest your soul and your heart and your akhirah and your substance of your very being in such a person or an event or a gathering or a moment of time. That's a middle mu'mineen. That's what not a haydari means, really. Right? It's not turned into something which ends up, looking like something else. I don't want to keep going. I'm going to get killed. But anyhow, but my point is that these are, that when we think of salah, our salah comes out of that moment of truth. And that moment of truth is enmeshed in the idea of focusing on being better people every single day. Right? And I wanted to end with a beautiful, 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 beautiful statement. I'm just looking for it. Yes, here, at the Battle of the Camel again. This is amazing. Listen to this. So imagine the middle mu'mineen's at Jamal. Aisha's on the other side. Talha, Zubayr. It's chaos. Companions of the Prophet fighting each other. It's equivalent of all hell breaking loose, really. The Muslim. That's why it's called the first fitna, right? Fitna tulula, the first fitna. Because the real fitna, you've got literally companions at war. In the midst of that, a Bedouin comes up to Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, Anta taqulu Allah wahid? Do you say God is one? Ali's companions look at the Bedouin. Right? Those who used to roam the desert. The Arab. And they told him, they rebuked him. They said, leave this, Baba. You're at war, man. You're coming and asking him, Taqul Allah wahid? You say God is wahid, one? Look at what Imam Ali says. This is in the history. Go to the history. Tabari, the early sources of Islam, rather. Say, قال أمير المؤمنين دعوه فإن الذي يريد الأعراب هو الذي نريده من القوم. Leave him. For what he is looking for is what we are looking for. What that Bedouin is searching for is exactly why we are here. The Imam then says there are two types. One part is allowed and one part is not. You cannot say God is wahid as in a number. You can say he is ahad. You can't say because it's wahid, yani wahid min al-nas. It comes to the whole principle of non-duality, the difference between saying ahad and wahid. We're not going to get into that. But the point is here, in that midst of war, we see this warrior ethos perfectly and beautifully molded, welded, and merged with the philosopher king. We see both warrior and philosopher at the same time. In one. Now, no wonder the people around him would just be like, what? Like, people were confused. They couldn't handle it, honestly. People, It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park. I'm not by no means saying that. But when we take his name, let's just recognize that much. Let's be a little cautious when we take his name, knowing just a few things that, if at least how he was with his own companions. And if this is how he was, imagine the Prophet. Imagine his reverence for the Prophet. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. I mean, just imagine that. Right? He described himself just as an infinitesimal, child in front of the Prophet. Right? He says, I know what I know because the Prophet taught me. Alamanihi. He taught it to me. He infused it in my chest, in my sadr. So who is the Prophet then? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq for us the next time we pray, the next time we approach salah, the next time we approach these devotions, to at the very least, if we can't, traverse all those levels, at least be thankful to God that we have such amazing spiritual heroes and guides in our life. I mean, this is, like I said, you have both the perfect philosopher king, the perfect warrior, mystic. It's whatever you want to think. It's all in one, a complete, holistic, perfect person. May Allah give us a tawfiq to be better servants of Imam al-Mu'minin, khuddam of Imam al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, and to follow in his path and to be his true Shi'a, and to inshallah be in the path of Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. Let us end with dua amma yujibu, as the Imam would be. As I said, he wept a lot and laughed a little, and these days in our human condition, we unfortunately are in a situation where our brothers and sisters all over the world, and especially in occupied Palestine, Muhtalla, are, who knows what to say, just deprived of all humanity. Let us recite Aman Yujibu for them, for our brothers in Syria, Yemen, all over the world, for all of the human beings who are deprived of their rights, Muslim or non-Muslim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-muttar idha da'ahu wa yakshifu as-su'. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. I think, are we having a Q&A or no? After.
Just do one act after the workshop. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. For the Shaykh's health, wealth, and prosperity, let's have 3 loud salawats. Before we continue on, Maulana Bakri was supposed to join us here today, and unfortunately, due to some complications, he couldn't join us today. So, on behalf of the organizers, we'd like to apologize for that, and inshallah, he can join us next time. Now, we had Talibai talk a bit about the Ark of Salvation organization, and I thought I would, match him by doing a little bit about Mehdi Youth as well. So, inshallah, for those of us who aren't aware of who we are and what we do, this might be a chance for you to get to know us better. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honored guests, respected elders, and my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's truly an honor today to be here at this special event where we come together as a united community to learn, grow, and strengthen our bonds of faith. Tonight I have the privilege of introducing Mehdi Youth, an organization dedicated to empowering, educating, and connecting young Muslims on their journey towards a deeper understanding of Islam. Now, Mehdi Youth, founded in 1985, is a youth-led organization that serves as a space for young people to engage with their faith, develop strong friendships, and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Our goal is to create a welcoming and supportive environment where everyone, whether you're born into Islam or you're newly embracing it, feels a sense of belonging and purpose. We recognize that many of you here today may be hearing about Mahdi Youth for the first time. If so, we welcome you. We are so glad to have you with us, and we hope that after tonight, you'll feel inspired to join us in future gatherings and become part of this growing family. We live in a time where being a young Muslim, especially in the West, comes with unique challenges. Many of us struggle to find a sense of identity, a supportive community, and a space where we can openly discuss our questions and experiences. Mahdi Youth was created to address these needs, offering a platform for learning, discussion, and personal growth in a way that is both accessible and engaging for young people. At Mahdi Youth, we organize a variety of events and initiatives, including faith-based lectures, discussions, and workshops, where we explore important topics like Islamic history, spirituality, and contemporary issues affecting young Muslims. We also have social gatherings and community building, because Islam is not just about knowledge, it's also about connection. So we host game nights, sport events, and other social events to foster real brotherhood and sisterhood. We also have service and charity initiatives. As followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, we are committed to service, and we organize volunteer programs and community outreach efforts. In terms of support and mentorship, we know that many of us are searching for guidance, whether in faith, career, or personal development. Mahdi Youth provides a network of mentors, resources, and friendships to help us navigate these challenges together. Events such as Career Fair, University Fair, and the Mahdi Youth Tutoring Program helps individuals connect with each other in order to grow professionally and academically. For our brothers and sisters who are new to Islam, we want you to know that you're not alone. We recognize the challenges that come with embracing a new faith, the questions, the adjustments, and sometimes even the struggles. That's why we're here to offer friendship, guidance, and a space where you feel truly at home. If you're new to Mahdi Youth, we invite you to become part of our community. Whether it's your first time at one of our events, or whether you've been with us before, you belong here. Our doors are always open, and we encourage you to join us for future programs, discussions, and activities. This is more than just an organization. It is a movement of young Muslims who are committed to faith, knowledge, and service. By working together, learning from each other, and supporting one another, we can strengthen our faith and build a community that truly reflects the teaching of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Salawat. Jazakallah khairan. Now, as you can see, today we have some beautiful art pieces up here today with us. We have some over here, we have one over here, and inshallah we'll be holding a short auction. So inshallah you can take some of them home with you. So to host the auction, I'd like to invite up the Mahdi Youth President, Brother Ashur Sayyid. Let's invite him up with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali.
Hope you all are doing well as we manage with these technical challenges. Just want to take a moment and thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Zahid, for that lovely chat script. It was very well worded, so good job, brother. But yeah, I think Zahid really gave a nice summary there. This center, Al-Mahdi Center, from its inception, its purpose is to serve everyone, right? And we understand that everyone has, like their needs and their concerns. And especially for new individuals, brothers and sisters who have, recently, entered the faith or, are managing these troubled times, we inshallah are there to help out in any way we possibly can. So as he mentioned, our doors are always open. We offer programs and events around the year. And we inshallah would encourage that you all check out our socials where we post updates about all these events and where you all can inshallah stay informed about our upcoming events and initiatives. Anyways, let's inshallah now dive into the exciting part, and then inshallah after this is a workshop followed by dinner. So we alhamdulillah have some beautiful pieces here today. These were made by individuals from not just our team but also from Al-Mahdi in general, and they have spent a lot of time and effort into these pieces, these beautiful pieces. So I'm gonna get Mehdi to start off with a piece at the back over there, all the way at the corner. Yeah, let's start off with that one. So we're gonna have Brother Mehdi here come at the front and show you all these pieces. Again, all these proceeds will be going towards My Society programs and programs in the upcoming future. And we encourage that you all take part. I know we have a lot of young individuals here, people, with the side hustles and the grind and everything like that. So inshallah, let's spend tonight in honor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in honor of this inspiring individual, Imam Ali alayhi salam, and really help out us with our mission up ahead. So this first piece, Mehdi, if you can have it up so everyone can see, show it to the right side and the left side. So inshallah, the starting bid for this piece, brothers and sisters, will be $25. Let's have a taker for the starting bid. $25 and take this beautiful piece with you all home tonight. Do we have a starting bidder? $25. It's a beautiful piece. We have a starting bidder right there. Thank you, brother. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So let's have the next person compete with this. So the next bid or option is $35. Do we have anyone for $35? Yes, we do. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Do we have someone for $50? $50 to take this piece with you home tonight. $50. $50. Do we have anyone for $50? Do we have anyone for $45? $45 and you get to take this piece with you home tonight. $45. There we go. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. $45. Do we have anyone for $60? $60. Anyone for $60 and take this piece with you home tonight? Yes, we do have some for $60. Do we have some for $75? $75 to take this piece with you. Do we have a $75? Do we have a $90? A $90. We're looking for a 90. Currently at 75, looking for a 90. 75 looking for a 90. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli. Thank you, Mehdi. Grab the next piece. Mehdi, by over there. Yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, we have our next beautiful piece. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Commander of the Faithful. Mehdi, if you can just have it a bit higher up. Thank you, brother. Show it to the sisters as well. Thank you. The starting bid for this piece is also $25. Do we have a starter for $25? $25. We need a starting bid for $25. $25. Do we have someone for $40? Looking for $40. Do we have someone for $40? Currently at 25, looking for $40. Do we have someone for $60? Currently at 40, looking for $60. Do we have someone for $60? Currently at 40, looking for $60. Any sisters? Come on, sisters. We're at 40, looking for a 60. Okay, we're at 40. Let's look for a 50. Do we have anyone for $50? Looking for $50. Anyone? Come on, guys. Come on. Let's have some competition growing. Okay, we have $50. Thank you. We're looking for 60. Currently at 50, looking for 60. Currently at 50, looking for 60. Going once. Going twice. Sold for $50. Thank you all. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Thank you, man. This is our third piece. Again, we do have two other pieces up there after this. So inshallah, keep your bids ready. This says, I believe, Ya Ali. Does it say Ya Ali? Yeah, it does. It says Ya Ali. So the starting bid for this piece is $25. Looking for 25. Any starting bid at 25. Looking for a 40. Currently at 25, looking for a 40. We got a 40. 40 looking for a 60. Do we have anyone for a 60? Currently at 40, looking for a 60. $60. Currently at 40, let's look for a 50. Do we have anyone for $50? Looking for a 50. Looking for a 50. Looking for a 50. We also, I think everyone's eyeing those two pieces over there, so maybe they're waiting. Currently at 40, looking for a 50. We got a 50 right there. Thank you. We're currently at 50 now, looking for a 60. Do we have anyone for $60? Currently at 50, looking for a 60. Currently at 50, looking for a 60. Going once. Going twice. And sold. Thank you, sister. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. If you can grab this piece first. You got it? So the Lion of God, Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is a beautiful piece that was crafted by a sister and who made this generous contribution to our center. So inshallah, the starting bid for this piece will be $50. Looking for $50 for our starting bid for this piece. Do we have a $50? We have a $50 right there. Looking for a 75. Currently at 50, looking for a 75. Do we have a $75? Currently at 50, looking for 75. Currently at 50, we got a 75 right there. 75, thank you. Looking for 100. Currently at 75, we got 100. Looking for 125. Got 125. Looking for 150. Currently at 125, looking for 150. We got a 150 right there. 150, looking for a 175. Looking for 175. Currently at 150, looking for a 175. 175. Sisters, come on. I'll make it easy for you. Let's make it 160 or 150. Okay, we got a brother. Thank you. For how much? 160 or 175? I put myself in that. Okay, we got a 160. Looking for a 180. Currently at 160, looking for a 180. Currently at 60, looking for a 180. Come on, sisters. Let's get some competition going here between the brothers and sisters. Currently at 160, looking for a 180. We got a brother right there. No, I think he's messing around. Is that an offer? 180. 180 looking for 200. 180 right now looking for 200. Do we have any takers for 200? $200. Take this piece with you home tonight. The Lion of God. We have $200. Thank you, brother. 200 looking for 225. Currently 200, 225. Looking 225 looking for a 250. 225 looking for a 250. Do we have any takers for 250? Currently 225 looking for a 250. Do we have any takers? We got taker. 250. 250 looking for a 275. 250 looking for a 275. Anyone? 250 looking for a 275. Got 275. Thank you. 275 looking for a 300. Looking for a 300. 275 looking for a 300. Going once. Going twice. And sold. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you, Mahdi. And now our final and last piece, and then inshallah I'll stop bothering you all. So this long vertical pink painting is a manuscript rendition of the shrine of Bibi Masuma Yakum. The border of this design is inspired by the Zari, and the writing says, Ya Fatima, ishfi lana fil jannah, which means, Ya Fatima, intercede for us in paradise. So this is a beautiful long piece that I think would look amazing at someone's home tonight. So inshallah, the starting bid for this piece will be $50. We need a bidder. We need a starting bid for $50. $50 right there. Looking for a 75. Currently at 50. Looking for a 75. Do you have any? We have got a 75 right there. 75 looking for 100. Do we have anyone for 100? Is 75 looking for 100? We got 100 right there. Thank you, sister. 100 looking for 125. 100 looking for 125. We got 125 right there. Thank you, sister. 125 looking for a 150. 125 looking for a 150. 125 looking for, was that your, okay. Looking for a 150. Currently at 125, we got a 150 right there. Thank you, Brother Talib. 150 looking for a 175. We got 175. 175 looking for 200. 175 looking for 200. 175 looking for 200. Come on, brothers. 175 looking for 200. Okay, 175. We got 200? Okay, we got 200 right there. Thank you, brother. 200 looking for 225. 200 looking for a 225. Any takers? Got 225. Thank you, sister. 225 looking for 250. 225 looking for a 250. 225 looking for a 250. Talib bhai? Hit Baji? 250, we got 250. 250 looking for a 275. 250 looking for a 275. Got 275. 275 looking for a 300. I'm looking at you, Hirabaji. 275 looking for 300. 275 looking for 300. Okay, 275 looking for 300. Anyone else? 275 looking for 300. 275 looking for 300. Going once. Go for 300. That's what the Sayyid just said, guys. Come on, let's push it to 300. We're at 275. Let's push it to 300. 300. Any takers? 300. Come on. We got 300. Thank you, sister. 300. Looking for 325. 325. 325. He's already on top of that. 325. Looking for 350 now. Talib bhai? 325 looking for a 350. 325 looking for a 350. 325 looking for a 350. Any takers? Going once. Going twice. Sold for 325. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. All right, thank you all. That was my portion. I appreciate you all taking out the time again for coming out tonight, and inshallah we encourage you all to join us for our future programs. Our program for our scheduling for the upcoming month will be coming out shortly, so inshallah we encourage that you all stay tuned for the holy month, inshallah. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Zahib, and I think we'll open it up for the workshops now. Thank you. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Another loud salawat. So now we're going to have the workshops. There will be the brothers' workshop in this hall and the sisters' workshop in the ladies' hall. But I think for now, let's take a 5-minute break to allow the volunteers to set up for the workshops. We have the resource table at the back for you to check out. There's also the raffle hosted by Ark of Salvation. So for more information for the raffle and to enter in it, please head to the resource booth as well. And then, yeah, for now, so let's have the sisters, inshallah, make their way to the ladies' hall. And we'll take a 5-minute break, inshallah. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.